morning, friends. Welcome to the story of the storyteller, episode 12. Few days back, we heard, a report that came in an American newspaper that Facebook executives had flagged a right-winger MP about hate speech in Facebook. But unfortunately, they couldn't ban him for reasons that we, in this episode, now will come to know. My dear friends, Facebook should know, or Facebook should not forget that it's a social media company. It's doing business with the society. Society means people from all religions, from all sections, creeds, languages, and castes. Hence, principles of social justice, liberal progressive values, secular values, humanistic values should be core of the company's values. Here the company means Facebook. These values should be closer to Facebook's core company's ideas or values. But according to Wall Street Journal, an American company has reported that the company's executives who always keep a watch on what is happening on the Facebook flagged off one Mr. Raja Singh, T. Raja Singh, who is from BJP and known to be a close associate of Modi, who had written ill about Rohingya Muslims, who in fact told that they should be shot at, called them traitors, compared them to Indian Muslims, and he also threatened to raise mosques in India. My dear friends, I would like to ask Facebook or the authorities in Facebook this. Isn't this against community standards that Facebook boasts about? If I or you, any one of us does a small mistake, they send us, you have been warned, you will be blocked shortly and all. Is it just because that we belong to an opposite camp of rightist Modi or fascist Modi that we always get the warnings? But those who are closer to the ruling elite like Mr. Modi, like Mr. Singh, even though they violate the community standards set by Facebook themselves, get away with it. The Facebook employees themselves have concluded that hate speech of Mr. Raja Singh is dangerous, and this rhetoric would have led to communal tensions in India. You all know what communal tensions or riots will lead to India. Thousands of people will die, and there will be communal hatred within the society. And these employees who actually have a look of what is happening in Facebook concluded to ban. Yet, my dear friends, Americans, Wall Street Journal itself reports that Mr. Singh was quite active in Facebook, because it seems that company's top executive, whose name is Ankita Das or something like that, opposed the ban on Mr. T. Raja Singh and told the employees not to ban Raja Singh in spite of his hate campaign on social media, just because he was closer to Modi. And Ankita Das said that that punishing violations by these politicians closer to the establishment led by Mr. Modi is not good for companies' business interests. It would damage Facebook's business prospects in India. This is absolutely shame on part of Facebook, I would say, my dear friends. How can a company whose sole existence is because of social media, which indirectly means its business is because of the society, how can it act against the interest of the society is my concern here, my dear friends. How can Facebook apply its community standards based on religion? or based on affinity, to certain party. Can any company, think of such a thing? Can it risk? Today, India is the biggest, market for Facebook. There are nearly 30 crore users for Facebook. India is the biggest market for it. No other country has so many users. And in a country like this, India is a diverse country. It is a secular country. It's known for its diversity. But unfortunately in India, there are some political compulsions where today the ruling establishment belongs to a party which has communal ideology imbibed within them. But just because of economic consideration or business interest, a multinational which is known for its secular, progressive, liberal ideology or ideas that the company represent can today side with fascist government just because of business interests. In that case, my dear friends, how is Facebook different from Indian media, who are used to biscuits thrown by Mr. Modi and BJP? India is a secular country, my dear friends. Facebook should understand that. And Facebook should act in a way of binding this society instead of siding with these communal forces who are regressive and have a divisive agenda for the society. Neither Miss Ankidas nor Mr. Raja Singh or BJP has till date clarified after what the American Wall Street Journal has reported. Only one our Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has replied. But what he says is, even Congress has utilized Cambridge Analytica, he says. The minister doesn't understand using data. We would have used data through Cambridge Analytica. Using data is different from a data company behaving as an agent of a ruling establishment. That is the difference, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Using data is on one side. You also can use data. But a data company which owns data, behaving like an agent of a ruling establishment, and having a communal mindset when banning posts which are not good for this society, is what the concern is what the US media has reported. Use data. No one stops you from using data. Using data is part of an electoral process. Please use it. And also Facebook also needs to understand that India is a vital market for them. Without India, they will be nowhere. 30 crore business. Facebook should understand that China has banned them. And if Facebook repeatedly does this sort of, one-sided mechanism whereby it sides with the ruling establishment, not giving a level playing field for all political parties in India, they will be seen as what the Indian media has done. They will be seen as hand in glove with all the communal fascist establishment today which is ruling India. Hence, I would request Facebook management that it has to act as a level playing field because they represent the society. It's a social media company. In a society, all types of people will be there. They need to give a level playing field for the opposition as well as the establishment is what I want to tell the Facebook company and its authorities in India basically. My dear friends, let us understand why Facebook is today pleasing the establishment. See, 2 years back they thought of introducing a service called free basics through which, through their Facebook, they wanted to hit the telecom industry. But, government didn't allow it. They also wanted to have the WhatsApp payment after they bought WhatsApp, which government didn't allow it. Maybe I think, this might be the reason why they are trying to please the establishment by showing a partisan attitude, by not banning those who put communal content in social media. One more thing, just look at how many hate mongers within BJP. Anant Kumar Hegde, for example, Tejasvi Surya, who puts communal content in Karnataka. Look at, what is his name? Raja Singh, Kapil Mishra. Like that, so many hate speeches are there from rightist communals in this country, but nothing is done till date. Facebook has turned a blind eye towards all this communal, fascist, rightist propaganda in the Facebook. And now it is clear why they haven't banned, because to protect their commercial business interest, they have sided with the communal Modi government. Hence, my dear friends, I urge upon the IT Standing Committee, which is headed by Shashi Tharoor. Fortunately, there are two MPs from Karnataka too in that committee. One is Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain, who is a Rajya Sabha MP from Karnataka. Another is Tejasvi Surya himself, who is part of the Standing Committee. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, Tejasvi Surya himself also has sent a tweet telling that, he has asked people who are having problem with Facebook, which has banned them, unceremoniously, to send a mail to him so that he will take up in the Standing Committee. But there he also claims that rightists among BJP also are facing the same problem, which I think is a farce. When Facebook is siding you, how will it ban your own posts? I have given clear, the US media has reported clearly, Raja Singh till date is not banned. Tejasvi Surya, you yourself are not banned. Anant Kumar Hegde is not banned. And many more such instances are there with Kapil Mishra. Hundreds of cases, you are all not banned. Hence, I urge Mr. Shashi Tharoor and in particular Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain to take up these in the Standing Committee and question Facebook. Why two different parameters? Why don't community standards be equal for opposition as well as the ruling establishment? Hence, but I feel, friends, there is a bigger conspiracy, which I told you in earlier videos also. Let us understand what the bigger conspiracy is. Facebook owns WhatsApp. They have taken over WhatsApp recently. BJP uses social media and in fact, Facebook and WhatsApp to propagate their fake agenda among the people in India through their Goebbels theory. Now with Facebook tying up with Jio, Reliance, and who owns Reliance Jio? Mr. Ambani, who is Modi's friend again. Now this troika of WhatsApp, Facebook and Ambani, Ambani will be the propaganda mechanism, the telecom service. These two will be the social media platforms. And now Modi and BJP knows very clearly. They have used all government mechanisms like ED, the Supreme Court, the IT, and CBI and whatnot, the CAG. Every government mechanism they have subverted and used it for their own benefit. Now the government mechanisms are over. Now the private media, the mainstream media is well in their control. Unfortunately, the Indian media too are used to Modi's biscuits. They have fallen in line. Now there was one media, the alternate media and the social media, which people like us were using to reach the people, because our voice is not heard in the mainstream media. So that was one media which was left. Today, this troika of Facebook, WhatsApp and Reliance Jio is, when they came together, it is an opportunity for Mr. Modi to take over the social media, and therefore a nexus is created between the three, which is a dangerous situation for Indian democracy. Hence, my dear friends, to conclude, this is a way of throttling people's voice. This is a way of throttling people's aspirations. In a democracy, people's voice is more important. Hence, I urge upon people to put pressure on Facebook and urge them to give a level playing field in an Indian democracy. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.